Our generation, when we started making films in the 70s in Los Angeles, were considered young people who had studied to make movies. It really isn't the case to study to make. As one of the professors at New York University at that time said, the only reason to come to film school is to get your hands on the equipment and to make the movie. They can't tell you how to make the movie. You have to have it in you. You have to have the inspiration, the passion.
Martin Scorcese is a living legend of cinema. His films have defined the American crime genre and have explored themes of violence, fate and redemption. From the gritty streets of New York City to the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, Scorsese has left a significant mark on the film industry. With a career spanning over 5 decades, he's been a major influence on the development of cinema and has directed some of the most iconic films of all time. In this video, we're gonna explore the mind of this visionary filmmaker and get inspired by his most insightful interview moments.
Having had asthma, my father taking me to the movie theater constantly because I couldn't play sports or anything. He never really talked to me very much when I was a kid. And so that was a way of talking. That was a way of experiencing strong emotional, whether it was Kirk Douglas and Lana Turner in The Bad and the Beautiful, or it was James Mason in The Desert Fox. And so from 1946 to 56, basically my experience was sharing these extraordinary emotions with either my father or my brother. It was a way of experiencing emotion, of feelings. If I wanted to say I loved you to him, which I didn't, it was through that film, you see. Yeah. And same way with him to me. And so in a funny way, they're not just movies to me. It was a way of expressing emotion and a way of learning a little about life. You need to know how ideas and emotions are expressed through a visual form. Now that form could be video, it probably eventually would be digital video for a long time to come. But it still has the same rules and it still has the same grammar, I should say. And the grammar is panning left and right, tracking in or out, booming up and down, intercutting a certain way, the use of a close-up as opposed to a medium shot. What is a medium shot? What is a long shot? All these sort of things, and how do you use all these elements and the different kinds of lighting, and how you use all these elements to make an emotional and psychological point to an audience. And I think we have to begin to teach our younger people how to use this very powerful tool, because we know film, the image can be so strong, not only for good use, but also for bad use. Look at World War II. A young person wants to express themselves and take a video camera and go out. They're going to find that they have to frame the image. And in framing the image, they're going to find that they have to interpret what they want to say to an audience. Now, how do you point the audience's eye to look where you want them to look and to get the point, the emotional and psychological point that you want to get across to them? They're going to have to make that decision. The real making of the filmmakers when they look to that viewfinder to tell the story.
Martin Scorsese grew up in New York City's Little Italy and was heavily influenced by the films of European directors such as Roberto Rossellini, Vittorio De Sica and Luchino Visconti.
First of all, you need the story, you need the script to be there. You need the script to be there. You need it to be on the page in terms of the emotion and in terms of something with which the audience can empathize, in terms of characters. You need the audience to care about somebody. The scripting, structure, as much as possible. Like Goodfellas was all on the script. Age of Innocence, all on the script. Based on the novel, of course, but it was restructured in the script. Okay, that's one thing. But then for me, it's literally the imagining of shots, one shot being cut to the other, and the emotional and psychological impact of that cut and the movement of that cut. In other words, two shots together, two moving shots together, create another movement altogether in your mind that isn't there. You see, it's almost like dance, like choreography.
Don't pay attention to the industry. Do your own thing. You want the work to be seen, but it doesn't have to be at the Odeon. No more. That's all different. That's all gone. It's another ancient world. That type of film, or not even that type of film. The communal experience is always important. You can make a film on a camera the size of that doorknob and still show it to 1,600 people in an audience. It's still a great communal experience. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to cost over 100 million.
At the same time, wonderful and scary is that when you get on the set, you realize every day that, okay, I don't know anything. Okay, I don't know this, I don't know that. I think I know this. Let me work on this area here. And it's constantly a learning experience, which, as you get older, forces you to try to streamline and just get to the essentials, because you have no time to play with all the other stuff. I guess what, for me, the hardest thing is to get one actor to talk to the other actor. Basically, for me, acting is just sit down the way we're talking. It's pretty much setting the scene and letting the people work. Letting the people, not the actors, but the people, they're the characters. They're there, and they are placed in their environment, and just let them be. I find that if I just don't, my ear tells me that I could, a lot of the scenes in Mean Streets I didn't even look at. I was hiding behind bars and stuff. I could tell from the earphones if the scene was acting, if the acting was going well. I could tell by the tones in their voices.
What do you attribute your strong dedication to getting that film made?
Really, hysteria, usually. Hysteria and obsession and anger, I think, mainly anger. I'm mad all the time, I can tell you, just, angry, 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 pain in the neck. That's why I use humor a lot, because it deflates myself. I don't want to take it seriously, because if I really do, I would have been gone much longer. 25 years ago, I wouldn't have survived. But the anger is enormous about everything.
Did you want to be famous? Did you want to be...
Oh yeah, absolutely, yes. I felt I was a director, and I knew I was, but other people didn't take me that seriously. I was shameless. I went to every party in LA, I promoted myself shamelessly. Dreadful.
Why did you want to? Why, as a self-confessed working-class person, did you have the confidence?
Oh, I was a working-class person, but it never worked.
Yeah.
My parents did the working. They gave me money to go to school. I left. I just said, come on. I was like a crazy filmmaker. Yeah. I wanted to make movies. I just was burned with the passion of these moving images and the emotions I saw growing up around me, and to sort of combine the two. We went out to the Long Island cemetery and thousands of graves. And I looked around, I said, is this what it is? There must be something more to life that we can maybe pull out of this madness. This poor kid, and that was cancer he had, it was a different thing. But the bullets for the stupid argument and I said, that's where the film should begin. We take that as the ending, and then we go to the beginning as to how each element of the story built to the point where there was no more talking, it was just shooting. Over nothing, by the way. Insults, pride, hubris.
What sacrifices do you think you've made in order to create the work, to make the films, to make the career that you've done? What do you think in your life you've sacrificed?
I think, as an old friend, old priest told me, he said, you pay a price, and you pay a price. Just quite honestly, a personal life, really, and relationships go by the board. I mean, it was as if like a drug or something that you have to continue. And now, as I say, some people call that drive, some call it obsession, some call it just being selfish and being not a very nice person. But the reality is that I just had to continue that process. And there always seemed to be, I was lucky, so I always felt there was always a subject matter around that I felt that I had the passion to go through this pretty, I must say, exhausting process, and also sometimes, difficult, combative process by the time the film is finished with studios and other things. And so, you can't complain about it, because that's what I do. I find over the years that, you cut away things in your personal life, and as you get older, you try to deal with a kind of revisiting of that. You deal with the people in the past and that sort of thing, and ultimately you wind up, you just wind up by yourself and doing your work. I'm lucky I have 3 daughters, and very sweet. The latest one is 5.5.
Yeah.
She's getting taller than me. Most people are, but she's, wonderful wife, and so it's in a funny way. After my mother died, and my father died, it was almost like recreating the family again. You see.
Yeah.
I hope this video inspired you for your own artistic journey. If you're an aspiring filmmaker and want to know more about the world of art, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you soon.